Kids from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, what did we do? We went outside the backyard and played on a metal swing set that was guaranteed that you were going to break at least some of your bones. Let's take a look. Okay, guys, back with another video. Here we are. We're going to talk about, everyone's favorite toys from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. The backyard metal swing set. If you didn't have one in your backyard, chances are one of your friends down the street did. Unless maybe you lived in a city and didn't have a backyard, and then I don't know where you put your swing set. Maybe you had to go to a local playground. Ugh. Play on a playground with strangers? Kids you didn't know? Of all races, sects, and creeds? That wasn't happening in my neighborhood. But today we're going to look at first from the 60s and then the 70s, maybe into the 80s. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of these swing sets, they're all about the same, but I think you're going to enjoy this video. It's going to take you back to playing on. Remember when your dad would put these together? It would take all day. He would get in this huge box, and he would take first, maybe you got it for Christmas. You unwrap it, it's in the box. It'd take your dad a day or two to even get around to putting the thing up. Then he puts it up. That takes 3 or 4 days. He's cussing. You're hearing cuss words you never even thought you heard before. You're like, what is the C word? Not even mention that key word he said. But finally get it all up and you start swinging on it, and then of course you swing this way and one of the poles of the ground comes out. Always one side has a pole that comes out when you swing and it pow! You know it did. So let's dig into these swing sets. And we're going to start right here, of course, from the 60s. Look at all those happy kids. Well, except for the kid down there on the end on that bench swing. That thing was you didn't sell that thing by yourself. It wasn't going to go anywhere. You might get a little rock on it, but you ain't getting a swing. Look at that kid on the slide. Now that's an happy kid. All of them's pretty happy. Then we have, check this out, also from the 60s. Pretty badass. I'm going to be honest, this was kind of cool. I like anything that had like a covered tin at the top of it or not. A nice slide too. You know what they had in the 90s and beyond? A plastic slide. You can't slide on plastic. We had hot metal slides. And that shit, when you slid, you shot off the bottom, man. It was awesome. And there goes the bench one again. It's got the same. I hated that one on the very end. It's like I don't know if you call it a teeter-totter. Remember that teeter-totter? I always call them not a sewing machine. I almost say I call them a showing machine. I can't even talk. I'm so excited about these swing sets. Teeter-totter. What's the? I know in the Brady Bunch they said teeter-totter, and I was like, they trying to beat a teeter-totter record? Look at the teeter-totter. Seesaw. That's not really like a seesaw, but it's kind of like a seesaw. Also, it's one you don't do by yourself. Sorry, little Timmy. Get out. You're not playing on that by yourself. And check this out. $27.95. You ain't paying that. Hey, but look, you got to pay $3 down. Man, that was like, I mean, back then you get paid 17 cents an hour, so you know it's a lot of money. And check out the basketball goal. Why is it right there? Your ball's going to come down. Your basketball. Come on, guys. Get your mind out of the gutter. Your basketball is going to come down and hit the metal slide and bounce the wrong direction. What? That's the worst place to put it. A fun favorite with a 5-foot slide. Now, a lot of these ads to tell you, but they don't make it really clear when you first look at it. The slide is always extra. You always had to pay extra for a slide. So a lot of people had this in their neighborhood, and Dad was cheap. Dad didn't buy the slide. He's like, $7 more for a slide? We'll just lean a board up against it, and he can slide down there and get splinters in his testicles. Oh, it's happened many of times to me, I'm sure. I'm sure it happened to you. Check this out. Man, I like the little bridge at the top. If I had this as a kid, I'd have been walking across it like I was Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. This thing is awesome. There's that big metal slide again. Who are these stupid little kids? They're sitting on the bench swing on both sides, on the same side. Then we got a boy trying to swing. And got a little old boy who thinks he's a rodeo rider. He's like, riding. Let me get he can't see me. Look at him. I can't. Picture's too big. He's like he's riding on a rodeo, like an 8-second ride. What's wrong with that kid? I've noticed something. What are white kids? Other kids didn't like to play in the backyard on play sets. And here we go, more 70s style, more than I was used to in the 70s. We got one in the probably like the early 80s, maybe the very late 70s. More of a style like this. As you can see, it's got about the same thing, but now it's got that monkey bar thing on it. I think it's called a monkey bar. It was like a U. And you could, I don't know what this guy's hanging upside down from his knees. I guess you could do that and try to do the pull-ups on him. I did one time and told everybody about it for about 2 years. Got this guy hanging upside down on something, but it looks like a lot of fun right there. And the slide is still metal and hot as shit. It's really fun to put the water hose on it. One, the water hose up on the slide and let the water just constantly run down. And then not only do you have a wet metal slide to go down, you got a big-ass puddle of dirt to land in. Oh, good old days, good old days. And then check this out. Almost like I said, they didn't change too much. $119. I went to one of these fancy websites that shows you what $119 in 1970 was compared to today. It's like $1,000. $1,000. See, Dad was like, "Oh, my dad didn't get the slide. He already spent almost $1,000 on your ass." But there we go. Now see some black kids are enjoying the swing in this one. So glad to see that finally the others, blacks, Puerto Ricans, yellows, whatever you want to call them, they're coming along too. It wasn't just the honkies. It's called a slide, a swing, a monkey bar. It's for everybody. It's not just for the honkies. And then we've got, look at that damn slide. I didn't have that slide, did you? Whew. Doesn't connect to the swing set. That's okay. Better if it did. Less chance it'll fall over. But there we go. Look at that slide. I bet that slide was a lot of fun. And check it. Whoa! See, I didn't ever have a good slide like this. And you tell you what was always really fun. Tell me if you did this. Going up the slide. Wasn't that fun trying to get up the slide? That could be just as much, especially if it was wet, that could be just as much fun. And this guy's got the monkey bars things that you do like this and you go across. I did it so much one time I had splinters on my hand. Now splinters? How would I get splinters on metal? I did it so much one time. I had welts. Blisters, that's the word I'm looking for. I had blisters on my hand. I did it so much. That's a lot of contraction to put together right there. Then we have, looks like we're getting, now that's still a metal slide, but we got an Asian on here now. See, I'm glad. So we got the whites was playing with in the 60s, and then the black people came over and started playing on swing. They was like, hey, these white people ain't so bad. They're playing with swing sets in the backyard. We didn't know that was a thing. And then they brought their Asians over. We're all getting together. See, you Zers or whatever you call, y'all think y'all are, oh, we all play with all races. So did we in the 70s. We ain't care. As long as you had a swing set and a play set in the backyard, you were cool with us. And then you have, look at this one, a Sesame Street one. Look at that street sign. It says Sesame Street. It's got dang, I hate Big Bird. It's got Big Bird on it. Would have been better if it was Ernie or Bert. I like that reporter. He was always my favorite. And people would laugh at me. Kids would be like, who's your favorite on Sesame Street? And one kid would be like, I like Cookie Monster. Another kid, I like Big Bird. And another one would be like, I like Bird. Another one said, I like Ernie. And another one said, Grover. And I said, I like that reporter. And then all the kids would just leave. Why didn't nobody like the reporter? I thought he was awesome. And now we're getting more into maybe the late 80s, 90s. I think the slide is still here, but you're using a lot of wood. The metal went out, it's wood. And this is what I tell you. You buy the set, you get home, you open it up, and there's just a swing set, a slide, and maybe some plastics and ropes and stuff. And you're like, oh, you got to buy the wood yourself. Well, like a lumberjack, I can go in the woods and cut down some trees? No, I don't think so. But let's say your dad got it all together, and you saw the pictures of how they look. Man, they look great, didn't they? Kids all happy, smiling, all kinds of kids, all colors, all sexes. All kinds. Everybody looked happy. Now let me show you what it looked like outside of the ad and how it looked when it was really put up. This is what it looked like. This is. I know it looked so exciting in the ads, and it was exciting, don't get me wrong, it was kind of fun, but when there wasn't no playing on it, it sat in the backyard like this. And a lot of times it was too hard to cut the grass under it or around the poles, so you had a lot of grass under it. I had a lot of dirt under ours, so that wasn't so bad, but it just looked so dead and boring. In fact, I think that really sums up the life of a kid from the 70s. That sums up how life is when you get older. You're not a kid anymore. You turn into this swing set. And you think it's just that one picture, but no, look at this one. There's another one. Sitting in your backyard. It turned to rust. That's right. 70s, you're playing with it. Your friends are all coming over. By the 80s, You had a members only jacket. You had a bicycle with mag wheels. You wasn't paying no attention to that swing set in the backyard, so it just sat there. The only one playing on that was Roly Polies in your neighborhood. And maybe a frog here or there would go down the slide when no one was looking. But it would just sit there and look pitiful, starting to fall apart. Oh, your dad would tell you he's going to throw it away. And part of you didn't want him to. You're like, no, Dad, keep it back there. But you knew your dad wasn't ever going to get around. Them bolts and screws ain't coming out of that thing. They're rusted in there. And you know your dad ain't going to do all that. And it would just sit back there and sit until rusted up. And then maybe they would just sell the house. Sometimes it was just easier. Honey, let's just move instead of trying to take that thing down. Because if you don't move, it's not going to take long. That toy from the 70s that your kids played on, that they took for granted in the 80s, are going to look like this in the 90s. It's going to look, ugh. No way you're getting a weed whacker anywhere near that thing. Good luck. You're going to hit some metal. It's going to be a bad day. But there it is. Look at that. That thing's got some memories, though. If metal could talk, that thing's got some stories to tell. Some kid, probably was named Johnny, probably has some girl from the neighborhood come over and play on it. Let's say her name was Jenny. And she probably wore a sundress and hung upside down on the monkey bar. And he got to see her bloomers. Yeah, it was the first time little Johnny got to see girl bloomers. Exciting day for him. Probably still in his spank bank today. But one thing I've told you about is the slides. I love the slide. Look at this slide. I always like when it's got a little lump in it instead of just straight. Look at this. Doesn't this look fun? It looks fun for me. I would slide down that today. Now you're thinking, okay, Junkman, you got... But you're thinking, Junkman, your dad did all the work, your mom's out there. What are they doing? What are they doing while you playing on this? Well, let's be honest. Most of the time they was inside the house. I don't know what they were doing. There was no internet. There was no... I don't know. Your dad might have had a VCR collection of tapes under his bed. But other than that, I don't know what they were doing. What did your parents do? What did your parents do back then? Today we got Netflix. We got the internet. We got YouTube to make videos. I don't know what parents did in the 70s and 80s when we were out playing. Probably having a key party. But sometimes they would come out and watch you play. And they would sit in something like this. We love metal. Let's be honest. I know you think you millennials and Gen Z kids, you hear us say, man, we were so metal back in the 70s. Oh, we love metal. You think we're talking about rock bands, metal bands like Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper, Color Me Bad. No, we're talking about we love metal, like swing sets, furniture. But there you go, a little swing chair, and they would sit right there and have a good old time. They have a good time. Your dad would have a beer, been working all weekend. Your mom would be sitting there, they'd be laughing, probably talking about the latest Jimmy Carter probably talking about the latest thing Jimmy Carter did or something, or how they glad Nixon's gone, and they would sit there and laugh while you played. It was a lot of fun for everybody. This is what the moms got today. She probably makes you go out. She makes her husband go out there. Probably makes him go to Starbucks and get some pumpkin spice lattes first. Instead of hearing about the latest from Jimmy Carter or how Nixon got kicked out of office, you got to hear your wife tell you about her friend Sarah that put pictures of her at the lake with her friends on Facebook and didn't invite her. And not only did the relaxing sitting watching the kids change, so did what the kids played with. All wood, plastic slides. This thing don't look like it's going to hurt you at all. Yeah, you might fall off, but look at the padding under you. Kids today are soft. And when you look at this picture long enough, you'll see that place that's not even there. It's AI. It's added in. It's photoshopped. Let's be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if kids just have a playset swing on their phone. That's right. They're probably like, oh, for 2 tokens, I can swing for 30 minutes. Oh, I can get on the monkey bars if I sell enough seeds or something. I don't know. Go outside, kids. Go outside.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.